stuff musically since we broke up, you know. And it really wasn't a breakup. It was more of like a break that turned into a long break. You know, because there was no definitive like this is over. It just we kind of got into different things, and our life took us in different directions. But we've always made music. I mean, maybe not Dave as much because Dave became a yoga instructor and he's pursued that for a while. But you know, Scott's been doing a solo record, you know, solo recordings, and also producing other people. Bob and I have been writing songs continuously the whole time and kind of working on a craft, trying to figure out where we were going with it. But I think that with the Moffats, this new thing, you know, there's hints of what we used to do intentionally because, you know, we miss, I think one of the things in the 90s that we do miss is just the overall simplicity of certain elements of music that were very melodic. There was a very melodic sensibility that happened in the 90s and before. And I think modern music, there's a lot of wonderful things about it, you know, more rhythmically. You know, they've really taken on a lot of rhythmic things that are interesting. But as far as the melody goes, they've sort of removed a lot of the melodic sensibilities that we used to have. And I think that people are craving that. I think people miss it. I don't think they ever said we don't want it anymore. I just think that certain things got hot and certain things got popular and then it got forgotten a little bit. But I think people in general, if they hear a song that has a nice melody, they love it. And we kind of find, just reading comments on like our new single So In Love, for instance, on YouTube, that has been brought up on hundreds and hundreds of occasions where people are you know, stating, wow, I wish there was more music like this. And it was just an honest thing for us to want to do. It was nothing more than us just wanting to write something that made us feel something that we felt back in the day.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, I'm Keith Cruz. So, since you're all back together making music and creating an album, how has the creative process changed with all of you?
Well, it's kind of unfortunate for me, at least, that I didn't write any of the songs with the four of us on this record, which is kind of sad. These guys wrote 2 songs together. And that, you know, that would be wonderful if that could happen. And that's one thing that has changed, is that we actually haven't sat down, the 4 of us, and written a song like we used to. And hopefully we can make time to do that eventually. Really, that's the only thing that I know. I mean, making music is constant evolution, you know, you're finding ways of communicating and telling your story, and just finding interesting ways of making it fun and better. So it's just constantly changing. Nothing has stayed the same, to be totally honest. And that's maybe a double-edged sword, because maybe it would have been nice to keep, you know, as you evolve, you forget things every once in a while. And the simplicity that I used to write with, and a lot of us used to write with, we were just talking about that, the simplicity of how we used to write is something that has evolved, and it's more complex now. So going back to that would be a wonderful thing, and trying to bring in those elements of simplicity would be great.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hi guys. Quick question. What is your favorite, or what's the most played track for each of you on Spotify or whatever music
Right
sounds?
now? Out of any music, any artist?
Yeah, any artist.
Wow. I think for me, you know, I do listen to a lot of the new stuff on the radio. I'm not going to say that I seek it out. You know, I'll hear something every once in a while that'll be like, oh, that's great, or I love that. You know, a certain song. I think Shawn Mendes has some really cool stuff. I think that Justin Bieber record Purpose had some really great stuff on it. In country music, a lot of people think, you know, differently about country music over here because it's country and it's country and western. But country music is really doing a lot of stuff right now that's very reminiscent of the stuff that I grew up on. Even the music that we made, it kind of sounds a lot like the 90s. And so I do resonate with a lot of the country stuff. Scott's producing an artist called Luke Combs, who's probably he's probably the hottest artist in the United States right now in country music. And he's got some great tunes. He's got a song called Beautiful Crazy that's just huge. I think it'll probably be a hit over here. So, but I probably dive back into the old stuff and listen to some Ryan Adams or something like that.
I gotta say I'm on with Bob on diving into the old stuff. So I listen to AC/DC, stuff like that, and Prince and whatever, but I don't really listen to modern music, I'm gonna be honest.
I just listen to whatever comes on. I like all music, really. I mean, if I don't like it, I'll still listen to it. But it's not like, there are a couple artists that I really like. Like, I like Robin. Robin makes some really cool, she expresses herself as a cool individual, and I like that about music. I like that people can create, or express their persona as art. So whoever does that, I'm all for it, even if I'm not a huge fan. I think it's great.
I get that's the question I get asked a lot, and it's interesting because I don't listen to a lot of music because we make so much music. It's difficult when you're making so much music, and we produce it all, we write it, we play the instruments. So it's a full day of just making music, and the last thing I want to do is turn music on, when you're done. And I have a family too, so it's like, when by the end of the day I kind of hate music, it's like I'm tired of it, I don't want to hear it. But the one, I would say I would agree that if there was one song that did come out recently, and it's kind of funny, you might think it's funny, but the one song I actually did seek out and listen to a few times was actually the Bieber song, What Do You Mean? And I like that song. There was something about it that made me kind of go, I'll check that out again. But as far as new music, I'm just not listening to the radio. I just, too busy with our own stuff.
Hi guys, I'm Usual from Philippine Star Approach.
Hi.
Were you guys aware that back in the day when you released that song, If Life Is So Short, I'm not sure if it was part of the marketing, but some people here actually thought that your lives were also cut short. Were you aware of that?
Like that we died?
Yeah.
Like we died.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it was
Well, I think
morbid humor.
because we did a tour and we came to the Philippines on our last Southeast Asia tour, and I did hear that people thought that we had died in a plane crash because they just didn't hear anything about the Moffats.
Well, that's actually part of the reason why we wanted to do the last tour, was because it did, looking back, it felt, whoa, we never thought about this. We just went on with our lives. But we never considered what everyone else over here thought. They were so into our music. And all of a sudden, we weren't over here anymore. We had nothing to do with social media, really. We weren't doing anything. So one of the things that was driving me, at least, was to come back here and at least say goodbye or do something, to do something right. Because I felt that was a bit weird, just kind of taking off like that and not saying goodbye properly and closing the book, at least. And now it's open again, which is pretty sweet. So instead of closing the book, we opened a new one, which is pretty awesome.
It is funny though how stuff like that can turn into, theories.
Part of that tour was because the song was so successful and it's a good song.
Honestly, being back here, when back in the 90s when I would listen to Flex is Short, it was probably one of my least favorite songs, just to be honest, and on that record. But since I've been over here, it's become my favorite song. And it's taken on a whole new meaning. I don't listen to it like I'm listening to Moffats. It almost feels like it's a different art band, because it was so long ago. But I do love that song. I love the meaning of that song. I love the fact that it seems timeless for people. And I love the message of it too. I think it's a great message.
And lastly, what were the circumstances behind the writing of that song? Because it's a departure from Mr. Like Crazy.
Life Is So Short?
Yeah, Life Is So Short. Yeah, I think
We wrote that song, yes, the four of us. I believe it was the four of us who wrote that
You're
song.
asking what the song was about?
Story behind that song, how did it come up with
The background story?
How it got written.
because you were so young at the time and you came up with such a title.
That was at the Movies and Bell.
Yeah, we were actually at our management's office, and I think our dad had told us to go into a room and write a song because we needed a song. And we sat downstairs in an office. I think it was myself, Scott, and Sheila, our stepmom, was writing it as well. And Clint was there, and I think it was all four of us actually, yeah. And to go back and rethink how the hook came about, I have no idea. But
It's a good one.
Sorry for the letdown.
Thank you for the question, though.